What do you do when you're trying to heal the wounds of your own childhood while raising a kid who's triggering every single one of them? Welcome to the emotional boss battle known as reparenting while actively parenting. It's like trying to be with a broken buster sword while your toddler is throwing goldfish at your face and the game won't let you pause. Welcome back to the Nostalgic Neurodivergent, where we decode parenting, advocacy, and neurodivergent identity, served with a healthy dose of nerdy zennial energy, unfiltered honesty, and practical healing tools. I'm your host, a late diagnosed healing in progress, licensed to snap mom, trying to raise a daughter who doesn't inherit my trauma, or at least not all of it. So today we're cracking open one of the rawest topics we've got. What it actually looks like to reparent yourself while raising your neurodivergent daughter. So we're talking inner child flare-ups during bedtime battles, why your nervous system melts down when your kid throws a shoe, and how to show up for her and for you in the same messy moment. This episode is not a highlight reel. It's the behind the scenes healing arc that no one talks about. So let's start here. You're trying to parent from your values, but sometimes your trauma just gets there first. You yell, you shut down, you hear your mom's voice come out of your mouth, and it wrecks you. Reparenting means you're trying to give your child the safety, love, and freedom you didn't get. In my case, it's just because my parents didn't know better, and who knows, maybe it's a cultural thing as well. I'm sure culture does have something to do with it. I come from a Japanese Filipino family, so with most Asian families, openly talking about emotions just wasn't those things that we did. So my mom, being raised in that environment, and my dad, they weren't given those tools. So if they weren't given those tools, how can they possibly pass that down to me? You know? So again, reparenting means that you were trying to give your child the safety, love, and freedom that you didn't get. But your nervous system is wired for defense and not connection. You're toggling between mom mode and wounded inner child like you're mashing buttons on a janky 64 controller. You want to respond with patience, but your inner child is screaming, "Where was this energy from me?" So let's pause and name it. This doesn't make you broken. It makes you human and deeply self-aware. If you remember those choose your own adventure books, that's what parenting is like when you're unlearning survival mode. Only now, you're flipping back to page 3, hoping you don't mess up the ending. So you want your home to feel safe for your daughter, but is it also safe for you? Because if your body is still carrying years of that unprocessed, be quiet, stop crying, and you're too much, whether you heard it from your parents or if you heard it from teachers, then your nervous system may not trust the safety yet. So reparenting in real time means offering yourself the same grace that you're trying to give her. So try these on in the hard moments. I am not in danger. I am just dysregulated. My daughter is not my parent or teacher. I get to choose differently now. We're both learning together. This isn't woo, this is nervous system science with the Lisa Frank sticker on top. So it's like rewriting your save file in Chrono Trigger. The past still happened, but now you're altering the timeline with every regulated breath. So the goal here isn't to raise a child who never struggles. The goal is to model what it looks like to recover from struggle. So when your kid spills their milk on your planner and your whole body just goes straight to DEFCON 1, pause, breathe, repair. So repair sounds like, I was overwhelmed and raised my voice. That didn't feel good for either of us. Let's try again, together. Even just the other night, my daughter accidentally spilled what was left of her Chex Mix onto the living room rug. And she immediately looked at me with a very apologetic look on her face. And I knew it was on an accident. I knew it wasn't on purpose. And instead of tensing and, snapping at her, I waited until I was in a space to just kind of clean it up quietly. And as I was cleaning it up, she said, I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. I'm like, I know. Accidents happen. It's okay. We move on. I'm just sorry that your Chex Mix spilled because I know you were still eating it. So it was just one of those moments where I think in the past I probably would have just snapped a little bit, or at least, said something like, why can't you just be more aware? But instead, I got to choose how to respond. And my response meant everything, I think, for her in that moment. So, repairing is powerful because it teaches your daughter that mistakes don't mean rejection, they mean reconnection. So, if you remember the to be continued screens on Sailor Moon, that's repair energy. The story isn't over, not by a long shot. There's always time to come back and do it differently. So, your daughter is watching you do something extraordinary, not being perfect, but trying, with intention, with repair, and with courage. That, my friend, is generational healing in action. And the coolest part? She's learning in real time that growth isn't shameful, it's sacred. So you don't need her to think that you're flawless or that you have everything together. You need her to know that messing up isn't the end, it's just part of the mission. That, my friends, also helps us with our recovering perfectionist and addresses some of those people pleasing RSD tendencies that we tend to carry. So it's like that moment in the never ending story where Bastian realizes he is part of the story. You're not just raising her, you're rewriting both of you. But let's still talk about the guilt that hits after the storm. You lost your temper, you shut down, you wished for a different life. Been there, done that. You are not a bad mom. You're a mom doing level 99 emotional work without a guidebook. Here's your reframe. The rupture isn't the problem. The lack of repair is. You are allowed to say that wasn't my best moment. Can I try again? And I'm learning too. That is what teaches trust. That is what makes your home a place where unmasking feels safe. Not just for her, but for you as well. So if this episode hit home, and I hope it did, download the free guide, Breaking the ADHD Mom Guilt Cycle. It has some quick, powerful, and made for moms like us who are doing this real-time healing work without spiraling. And if you're ready for the ongoing support, come join me over in private membership space where neurodivergent moms break cycles, build community, and raise kids without burning out. Remember, moms, you're not just parenting, you're healing. You're not just breaking cycles, you are building legacies. You are the mom your inner child needed and the one your daughter gets to have. That is revolutionary. Now go take your safe point. You've earned it.